All right, it is 11:31, so I will go ahead and at least kick us off with introductions. Hi, everybody. I am Sarah Werelberg. I'm the Director of Stanford Web Services. We are the team inside of Stanford who runs Stanford Sites, which is our Drupal content management platform that hosts over 3,000 websites. We do that on top of Acquia Cloud Site Factory, and thank goodness we do, because it used to be bubblegum tape, multiple servers stuck together in some closet somewhere, and that wasn't great. So we moved to Acquia Cloud Site Factory a few years ago, and it's been a delightful experience ever since. And I am joined by my good friends, Michael Bain from Acquia. Michael and I meet every 2 weeks or so and talk about, sports, and also Drupal stuff. But I also am joined by our friend and our speaker today, Angela Byron. Angie is the Senior Director of Product and Community Development at Acquia, which I think is a super cool title to both put product and community in there. It's pretty awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. Angie's going to be talking to us about some of the new tools that Acquia has released that we get to take advantage of here at Stanford. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Can everyone see the slides okay?
Looks good.
Okay, great. So this talk is about a tool called Acquia Migrate Accelerate. And so it's specifically around making Drupal 7 to 9 migrations easier. So I'll be talking a lot about that. If you use Drupal 8, this might be still useful for you to know, in case you have some Drupal 7 sites kicking around. But the nice thing to know about Drupal 8 is that if you're migrating that from Drupal 8 to Drupal 9, that is much more of an upgrade. It is a 5-step process, a much easier undertaking. 7 and 9 is a bit more complicated. We'll get into that and why we built this tool. So the current situation is that if you actually look across all Drupal users that there are in the world, most of them today are still on Drupal 7. And we have an end-of-life situation coming where Drupal 7 support ends in November of 2022, next year. It was originally supposed to be November of this year, but because of COVID, the security team, the core committers, we all got together and we said, we need to give people a little bit of reprieve on this. Let's push it out by a year, just knowing a lot of, there's a lot of hiring freezes and budget freezes and things like that that came about as a result of COVID. The other thing I want to point out is if that date even is scary to you, there are vendors, Acquia is one of them, but there are others that provide commercial Drupal 7 extended support all the way until 2025. So, if you're on Drupal 7, we do want you to get off of Drupal 7 onto Drupal 9, because then you're going to get all this cool stuff that we've been working on for the past literally 10 years since Drupal 7 first came out. So a lot of improvements for content creators, a lot of improvements to make Drupal easy to use. The biggest thing that I like is being the easy upgrade path to Drupal 9. The fact that we're maintaining backwards compatibility within a major release, so that you don't have to do those major rewriting all the modules things that you had to do back in the day. Why are people still on Drupal 7? They're still on Drupal 7 because this is a big job doing this migration. So you have to do some analysis and planning. You got to look at all your content, figure out how much of that content do I actually want to bring over? What modules am I using? Do I need all of those modules? Are there some that I could drop? What's the closest equivalent module in Drupal 9? A lot of times there's not quite a 1-to-1 ratio. Some functionality got moved into core. Some functionality is maybe instead of using the organic groups module, now there's the group module, and it's slightly different. These kinds of things that you have to navigate. There's a Devops component because, as I mentioned, Drupal 7 came out in 2011, so it still supported like PHP 4 and other things. So a lot of people have to kind of look at their hosting situation and make sure their host is set up to support the more modern feature requirements, platform requirements of Drupal 9. Then you have to import your data. This involves a lot of times using what's called the Drupal Migrate API, which is an incredibly awesome, powerful, robust system for generating like anything to Drupal migrations, but it involves writing a lot of PHP, a lot of YAML, a lot of kind of like very persnickety edge case things that you have to solve to get your content imported in there. And then once you're done with that, now you're into your business logic, your presentation, the stuff the community will not port for you. That all needs to be done. And so altogether, this adds up to quite a bit of time and cost, and it makes people want to stay on Drupal 7 as long as possible, or to align this migration with some other kind of major revamp that they want to do anyway, so that they can be on the latest version, but then their users also get, for example, a nicely redesigned theme that now adheres to modern best practices, that kind of thing. So Acquia knows about this problem. We've talked to a lot of our customers, our partners, other people in the ecosystem. We said, well, what can we do about this? So we spent the last year and a bit on a product called Acquia Migrate Accelerate. And this is a tool that's exclusive to Acquia customers. But I will say that when our team works on, any kind of migrate issues that our customers run into, we always donate the patches required to make core and contrib modules work upstream. So it's sort of a hybrid open source and proprietary approach. But the tool itself is Acquia specific, and we say that customers can see migrations accelerate up to 80% faster. Now, there's a lot under that. Some customers will see 20% increase, some will see 50, but at any rate, it should help a lot, because what it offers is, instead of having to use complex developer tools, doing all the migration through Drush, we surface everything in a UI for you. So your site builders or your junior developers, someone a little less technical, can at least get the migration kickstarted and get the content in there so you can start working on things. There's a lot you need to learn in order to start a Drupal 9 migration in the current system using the open source tools. We try to knock that out for you so you can get started right away. We provide you a place to work with your migration. So we give you a free environment that you can use as kind of like a staging environment for your Drupal 9 site. And then we take great pains to build in Acquia best practice wherever we can. So we're just trying to sand off those rough edges so you don't have quite as hard of a time. And so what we hope is that, particularly if you're a site with a complex data model that's using a lot of contributed modules that other people are using, you're going to see a lot of impact that AMA can do for you. And then where AMA kind of stops, which is at that data import piece, for the business logic in the presentation, we also integrate with other Acquia products, including Cloud IDEs and Site Studio, to try to get those parts of the migration accelerated as well. So altogether, you're looking at lots of places to cut corners and make things faster. So the three main components are that dedicated migration environment I talked about, the module recommendation engine, which is where we have done the homework to figure out that, gosh, if you were using field collection on Drupal 7, you actually want to be using the paragraphs module now, and you need these three specific patches or it won't work. We've already done the homework for you. We set your Drupal 9 site up out of the box with all of that stuff in there that you need. And then the last thing is that kind of enhanced migration capabilities written all on a decoupled UI. So it's all using the new Drupal 9 headless features, and is quite, I won't ever call a migration fun, but it's kind of pleasant to use. So I'll jump in here with a product walkthrough. I'm just going to blow through this, and then hopefully we have time at the end for questions. So you will need an entitlement, it's called, on our back end to give you AMA, because we don't want to give it to Drupal 8 customers. It doesn't make sense for them. They don't need a tool like this. So this is really for Drupal 7 folks. So once you get the AMA entitlement, and assuming you have permissions to do this, we hide it behind a permission because it could infer access to production data, which you may want to be careful about who has that. You can go through a little wizard, and it will create a migration environment for you. And you'll notice that this looks a little different than the other environments here, and that is by design. There's a couple little special things written into this environment. One that's really handy is this refresh button, for example. So what that does is it automatically pulls down a fresh copy of your Drupal 7 database and files for you at whatever point makes the most sense during your migration. And this makes sure that you're always migrating against the latest stuff. Because when you're building out your Drupal 9 site, you're keeping your production site up and running the entire time, so you don't experience downtime while you're working on these complex migrations. The next thing I wanted to get into is that module recommendation engine. So as I mentioned, we have a group of engineers who are very active in the Drupal community, finding common issues that our customers run into, that the community runs into, and going out researching what's required to fix those things. And we compile that all into an API. And when we create the environment for you, we look at your Drupal 7 site, what functionality is running on it, and then we cross-reference it against this API, generate a Drupal 9 site for you already built with Composer and all the best practices so that you can kind of get off and running on the right foot. So wherever we've kind of vetted a module, we mark it as vetted as true, and then we'll enable that module out of the box in your Drupal 9 installation. The first step of using AMA is you'll see a list of all the content that used to be on your Drupal 7 site. And one thing I like to emphasize is we put this in site builder terminology. So under the hood, Drupal will call this like D7 underscore node.entity blah, blah, blah stuff. We say, no, let's put it in the words that people are used to seeing in their interface. So this is all going to be stuff that you've seen under create content or in your taxonomy list, that kind of thing. We surface that all. You check off which ones you want and which ones you don't want. It's also very smart about dependencies, so it won't let you, for example, say I want to import comments before I've imported articles, before I've imported users, just to kind of help prevent people from shooting themselves in the foot. The actual interface looks like this. So you'll see a list of all the content that you want to import, and you can check off one or more things. It will go ahead and process them and sort them into these workflow states. You have needs review, which means we found some kind of a problem when we were migrating this in. You might want to check that out. And completed means great, everything moved in and it's all good. And then this refresh tab would be when new content is available from your Drupal 7 site that has changed. It pulls it in there and you can choose to push it in there. Another cool thing, so everything shown on this dashboard is stuff that you can do with Drush, with command line tools. This is kind of a cool thing that is exclusive to AMA. So with the Drush and the open source commands, what you essentially have to do is import all thousands of records into your site, take a look at what happened, and then roll it all back if it didn't work, and then fix it and re-import and that kind of thing. This is a preview functionality. So we're able to look at the content from your Drupal 7 site and show you what the raw source values were, as well as the raw destination values, what that's going to turn into when it comes into Drupal 9, and a rendered preview of that. So you can check for things like broken images or a date that's coming through as 1970 or a missing field. And that's really helpful because you can do that before the content is migrated. So this is what the dashboard looks like in action. So you check off one or more things. It will process it. You can see this progress meter starts counting up your content as it comes in. We call this the swooshy whooshy internally. It's kind of neat to see the thing go up and count up. And hopefully at some point you'll get to 80, 90% of your content being imported, and then you can focus on the other remaining parts. One thing, if you've ever done a migration of any kind, whether it's Drupal or not, you know that there's going to be problems that happen. So we have a messages console that will show you those. And then in addition to showing you what the kind of the Drupal-y error is coming from that, we also show you a kind of human readable, or I like to say Drupal human readable solution for what to do about that problem. So we track the errors that our customers are encountering across the fleet. And then we take the most top, encountered messages, search down what's the next step to require, to fix those things. And we get that in there for people. And the other thing I want to highlight here is we're not only checking for just like general, migration errors that will happen as a result of the, the migration. We also check your content to check for things like data integrity issues. For example, if you have Article 12 that's pointing to file 3, but file 3 doesn't exist, it's going to surface things like that for you so that you can actually fix those problems on your Drupal 7 site as it stands and then pull them over to Drupal 9. And then finally, if you are someone who's done Drupal 9 migrations before, you are savvy with the Migrate API, or you're just curious how things work under the hood, we have views for that as well. So you can get in there and dig into the developer-facing details to know that, what we call shared structure for content items ends up being these things under the hood. And that's useful when you're trying to debug any kind of problem that you encounter. If you're interested in this tool, here's a little bit about how to use it. First, the sites that are the best candidate for this tool are either single sites or people that are moving kind of one site at a time. And if you start with the one that's closest to the functionality and content model you want in Drupal 9, that's usually the best. I know in higher ed, multi-site is a huge benefit of Drupal. And so I imagine there's lots of multi-site users out there. So in that case, we recommend kind of starting with the most complex site and then, moving from there. If you utilize a lot of the top 100 contrib modules, especially ones that other people use, that's great. We've done a lot of work on those, like things like the Path Auto, Paragraphs, Media, a lot of SEO tools. We've done a lot of work on those migrations in particular to make sure that they're nice and smooth for you. If you have a more complex data model with a lot of entity references and a lot of different types of fields, you'll benefit more from AMA there because, once again, we're able to auto-generate all of that code you have to write by hand for you automatically out of the box. And then finally, the last bit is AMA is a tool that's intended to get you from Drupal 7 to Drupal 9 as quickly as possible. So if you were planning to completely redo your entire site from scratch and redo the content model and redo everything, AMA would be less of a good fit for you. What AMA is good for is get everything onto Drupal 9 as quickly as possible. And then once you're using the modern platform, then massage your data model and do other things. So just want to call those things out. And then I'll pass it off to Michael to talk about how to actually use it at Acquia.
Yeah, thanks, Angie. So as Sarah introduced me at the top of the presentation, my name is Michael Bain. I'm the account manager from Acquia, working with Stanford University. I have a close relationship with the Stanford Web Services team, who the subscription with Acquia currently sits. So if you have any questions about the tool after the presentation, or any questions just about Acquia as a whole, you can feel free to reach out to me directly at michael.bain@acquia.com. And I also worked for the Stanford specific folks on the line. If you're interested in, either getting a new subscription with Acquia through web services, or just adding this tool to your current subscription, we went ahead and put together a page that just has some helpful outlines in terms of common use cases we see, whether you're with D7 or you're with D8, or you need a new site altogether. All of that's kind of outlined in detail, how to get in contact with us and the next steps that are required. So that's at go-to.stanford.edu/Acquia hosting. So thank you again for your time, everybody. And hopefully, we'll hear from you soon if you need anything on that site.
I'll definitely put in a plug for our Acquia team. We have many times said, hey, can you help us talk to a unit at Stanford where they're trying to decide what's the right path for them? What, how should they plan moving ahead? What are